Hey friends, welcome back to the Money Girl podcast. This is Finance Friday, a special edition of Money Girl, where I answer your burning money questions. I'm Laura Adams, an award-winning author who's been bringing you personal finance tips every week since 2008 with over 44 million downloads. I love hearing from you, so if you've got something finance related on your mind, it could be a question or a comment, please leave me a voicemail by calling 302-364-0308. Or you can email me your question or comment via my contact page at lauradadams.com. Today, we have a very short email question from Gorach, who says, I will get $500,000 in January 2026. How can I make it make money for us? Thank you so much for your question, Gorach. Knowing what to do with a large cash windfall can be confusing, but it's a terrific problem to have, right? So I'll review how to manage a lump sum cash windfall wisely based on your financial situation, age, and risk tolerance. And by the way, these tips apply even if you don't have lots of extra cash. So stay with me. All right, let's talk about 6 tips to manage a large windfall. I understand that Gorach is anxious to put a cash windfall to work to, quote, make it make money right away. But first, it's critical to ensure you have a solid financial foundation that protects you, regardless of what happens in the economy or financial markets. So let's go through these 6 tips for managing a cash windfall to avoid excessive risk and improve your long-term financial security. So tip number 1 is to understand your financial situation. This sounds very basic, but it's key. In my most recent podcast, this was number 986, called Your Roadmap for More Wealth in 2026, I recommend regularly using a very simple financial tool to evaluate your finances. It's called a Personal Financial Statement, or PFS. It's a spreadsheet that I created and share with podcast listeners and newsletter subscribers that makes it very easy to calculate your net worth and understand your whole financial situation kind of in one document. To get your copy of my PFS template, it's easy. It's a free gift when you subscribe to my newsletter called The Money Stack. You can do that by going to lauradadams.com. That's my personal website, or just doing a Google search for The Money Stack. Once you download the PFS, you're going to find a tab to list your assets. So these are things like real estate, cars, jewelry, household possessions, bank accounts, taxable investments, and retirement accounts. My PFS also includes a tab to list your liabilities, so all the things you owe, including mortgages, car loans, student loans, personal loans, and credit cards. There is a separate tab that calculates your total liabilities and subtracts them from your total assets. And the resulting number, whether it's positive or negative, is your net worth. So calculating your net worth is so important because it provides a comprehensive view of your entire financial position. For instance, a negative net worth tells you that your liabilities exceed your assets. But a positive net worth shows that the value of what you own exceeds what you owe, which should be your goal. So before you or Gorach invest a cash windfall, I want to encourage you to complete your PFS to determine whether you should put some or all of it to better use. For instance, you may need to boost your emergency savings or pay down high-interest debt to improve your financial well-being. Otherwise, if you need cash, you could be forced to sell investments at the wrong time, causing you to lose money. All right, tip number 2 is to fund financial safety nets. Once you review your assets and your liabilities using my PFS template, ask yourself if you have the right financial safety nets in place right now. So these are essential for managing unexpected expenses and potential hardships, like medical bills or a job loss or reduced business income. As I mentioned, keeping emergency savings is critical. A good target is to maintain approximately 3 to 6 months worth of your living expenses. So these are things like housing, food, utilities, healthcare, and debt payments. You want to keep at least that much on hand to get you through, several months in an emergency. For example, if your monthly living expenses total $4,000, consider keeping $12,000 to $24,000 in FDIC insured savings. However, you may need more or less depending on factors like the number of breadwinners in your household, your income stability, and financial goals. Another financial safety net is insurance, like health insurance and disability policies. Even a quick trip to the emergency room for an illness or accident could cost thousands of dollars. So being uninsured or underinsured could leave you financially devastated after an accident or illness. Plus, if you have family members who depend on your income, having life insurance protects their financial futures. So if you don't have a healthy cash reserve or various insurance coverages, consider using some or all of a windfall to shore up your financial defenses before investing your extra cash. Number 3, choose the best investments. Once you have financial safety nets in place, you're in an excellent position to invest excess cash so it works for you. However, the investments you choose should align with when you may need to spend the funds. Let's say you have short-term goals like buying a car or maybe a home within a year or two. In that case, consider placing those funds in a low-risk, predictable return option like a certificate of deposit or CD. Or you may prefer an investment that generates monthly income to supplement your lifestyle, like a dividend-paying mutual fund or exchange-traded fund. However, if you don't need the cash in the short term and want it to grow for at least 5 years, like maybe it's for a young child's education or for your own retirement, consider investing in a low-cost index fund, such as one that tracks the S&P 500, which is the gold standard for passive investment growth. It's reasonable to expect an average annual return of 7% with a total stock market index fund. So that means a $500,000 investment could double to $1 million in about 10 years, even without adding another penny. If you want to be an active investor, you might use a cash windfall to purchase a physical asset, such as real estate. A rental property offers tax advantages, potential appreciation, and cash flow if properly managed. However, you should analyze the income and expenses of a possible property extremely carefully, especially if you don't have experience in real estate investing. You definitely might get the help of a real estate professional. Number 4, use the best investing accounts. Gorech didn't mention having a workplace retirement plan or ask about investing in a taxable or tax-advantaged account. So I'm going to assume they don't have one, or maybe they're self-employed. Unlike retirement accounts, taxable brokerage accounts require you to pay tax annually on any capital gain. So those are profits from selling an investment for more than its purchase price. And you have to pay tax on interest and dividend income. The tax amount depends on how long you own the investment and your tax bracket. The upside of taxable accounts is their flexibility. Unlike retirement accounts, they don't have income requirements, annual contribution limits, early withdrawal penalties before the age of 59 and a half, or require minimum distributions. However, when you purchase investments using a retirement account, like an IRA or a SEP IRA, that's for the self-employed, you build wealth for retirement and reduce your taxes. So I recommend that Gorech open a retirement account and fund it first before investing through a taxable brokerage account. Everyone with earned income, even minors, Qualify for a traditional IRA. You make pre-tax contributions and defer taxation until you make withdrawals in retirement. There are no income limits to qualify for a traditional IRA. And if you're married and file taxes jointly but have no income, you can invest based on your spouse's income. For 2026, you can contribute up to $7,500 or $8,600 if you're over age 50 to a traditional IRA. The annual contribution limit is the same for a Roth IRA, but it has a qualifying income limit. For 2026, you must earn less than $168,000 as an individual taxpayer or less than $252,000 as a married couple filing taxes jointly to qualify to make Roth IRA contributions. With a Roth IRA, you must pay taxes up front on your contributions. However, you can make tax-free withdrawals of your original contributions and account earnings in retirement, and that's a huge benefit. In addition to investing through a traditional or a Roth IRA, you've got more account choices when you're self-employed. Two popular accounts are a SEP IRA and a solo 401k, which have much higher contribution limits, up to $72,000 for 2026, based on your earnings and age. All right, moving on to tip number 5, which is to decide on investment timing. You might also wonder when to invest a cash windfall. For instance, is it better to invest the entire lump sum or to use a dollar cost averaging or DCA strategy? DCA means you invest a consistent amount at regular intervals, like monthly or bi-monthly. It's most commonly used for relatively volatile investments like index, mutual, and exchange-traded funds, where the price can vary widely each time you buy more shares. And by the way, if you're enrolled in a workplace retirement plan, like a 401k or 403b, and you have a flat amount or a percentage of your paycheck getting contributed to your plan, you're already dollar cost averaging. By sticking to a DCA strategy over the long term, you may cut the risk of market volatility. So it helps smooth out the impact of market fluctuations on your investment portfolio, making you less vulnerable to bad market timing. In other words, if you invest a lump sum when a fund's price is at an all-time high, you'd lose money and never have the chance to recover. Plus, DCA can be more cost-effective if you typically don't have excess cash. It can also make investing less emotional if you focus on how much to invest rather than on the price of an investment from week to week or month to month. Once you choose an investment, its price doesn't matter because you buy it regularly, whether it's up or down. Now, the downside of a DCA strategy is that you could miss out on a massive price increase compared to a lump sum investment. Also, since the market generally rises over time, you could argue that investing a large amount earlier is better than investing smaller amounts over a longer period. But in general, when the stock market is flat or declines, you'll likely come out ahead with a DCA strategy. However, when the market rises, DCA might not be an advantage. Also, DCA doesn't remove all investing risk. You still must identify suitable investments based on your risk tolerance, time horizon, and financial goals. Since the amount Gorech wants to invest is relatively large, and the market is doing well right now, investing a lump sum may be the best option. However, gradually spreading investments across various assets is an excellent way to reduce risk. So do what feels right for you. Additionally, it can be psychologically easier to invest smaller amounts over several years. And maybe the most important tip of all is number 6, get professional investment advice. Getting a significant windfall like the $500,000 that Gorech expects is life-changing. Often, large windfalls come during difficult times, like after the death of someone close to you. Never feel rushed to make significant financial decisions when you feel overwhelmed or emotionally unstable. There's no downside to waiting until you feel more balanced and clear-headed. Even if you receive a smaller amount and are unsure how to manage it or how to choose investments, I recommend getting professional advice, such as from a certified financial planner or CFP, from a tax accountant, or a retirement planner. They can help you understand the tax consequences of having a higher income and how to use a cash windfall to achieve your financial goals. To sum up, before investing a windfall, prioritize safety nets such as emergency savings and insurance, and use tax-advantaged investment accounts when possible. Thanks again to Goer Retch for sending in this question. Remember, you can also email me with a question or comment by using my contact page at lauradadams.com. And while you're there, sign up for The Money Stack. That's my Substack newsletter. You can subscribe for free or support the show by becoming a paid member and getting access to my live educational and Q&A events. That's all for now. I'll talk to you soon. Until then, here's to living a richer life. Money Girl is a quick and dirty tips podcast, and I want to thank our amazing team. Steve Rickyberg is our audio engineer. Holly Hutchins is our director of podcast. Morgan Christensen is our advertising operations specialist. Rebecca Sebastian is our marketing and publicity manager. And Nathaniel Hoops is our marketing contractor.